Hiya, welcome to Darren in the studio. Thank you for swinging around, swinging by for another video. This is the first video of 2024, so want to wish you a very happy new year, and we look forward to another year of making videos and all that sort of stuff. You know the deal. Now, before I go any further, this video is going to be a little bit different to what I usually talk about. Of course, usually I'm talking about records, CDs, stuff like that. This video is a very personal video, and it's a video that I was not asked to make, but I got to thinking and making it because somebody that I watch all the time on YouTube, CGC Vinyl, Christian, the vinyl guy, check out his channel, was talking about and put a poll out about how others listen to music. He wanted to know how we all listen to our music, and he was saying that he was getting some complaints from his neighbours because his his music was too loud and stuff like that, and whether he should buy some headphones. And that got me thinking about a video about how we listen to music and how our music listening can not only be different between people, of course, but be different throughout your life. Now, I said earlier that this was going to be a very personal video, and it is a personal video because it's about me and my hearing. Now, before I go any further, I need to ask you a question. Can you hear me? I hope you can. I have always struggled with my hearing. When I was very, very young, I used to have, and probably still have it as an adult, I used to have what they used to call glue ear, which sounds horrible, and it probably is horrible, and it's basically where you just have a lot of gunk in your ears all the time. And as a child, I was constantly at the hospital and having hearing tests and hearing examinations and all this kind of stuff. And I was never really diagnosed with anything to do with my hearing and my ears. I was just given, I don't know, eardrops and things like that. And nothing was ever really done about it, to be fair. And then many, many years later, certainly in the last 20 years for me, I developed and was diagnosed with something called Meniere's disease, which is a condition of the inner ear, and it affects my right-hand side. It's a condition of the inner ear which basically renders the ear more or less useless. And I have about 30% in this ear on a good day, and my hearing sort of in this ear especially, my hearing tends to fluctuate between being crap and really crap. At the moment it's not too bad, and like I said, I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease. You can sort of check that out yourself online. I'm not going to go through what it is and all that sort of stuff. But this last year, 2023, I started to develop a problem in my left ear, which eventually was diagnosed as a tumour, which is in between my sort of eardrum and sort of brain, if you like, in between that section. So it can't be accessed from the outside. And it has caused me some terrible problems over the last certainly 12 months or so. And like I said, last year in 2023 I was diagnosed with this tumour that I have. Now hopefully it's not as bad as it sort of sounds, and yes, it's affected my life quite considerably, especially my hearing, and it certainly affected me in a very personal manner. because of those of you who have trouble with your ears and your hearing, you will know how difficult and how frustrating it can be when your hearing isn't as it should be. And because I've suffered with my hearing, like I said, for all my life, it was just something I kind of just accepted. And hopefully this year, this new year, will bring maybe some treatment, maybe an operation to put that right. Touch wood, these last few months I've been okay with it. It has in the past caused some terrible pain and some really terrible side effects regarding discharge and my hearing itself. So not only am I sort of crappy on this side, I've developed a bit of crappiness on this side as well. So that has affected greatly how I listen to music. And also when I was a kid, first getting into music, I remember my first record player, I always thought that it was faulty. And I always used to listen to music, even back then as a kid, I always used to listen to music through headphones. And I always thought this record player must be faulty because I could only really hear in my left-hand side. So I would move the balance slider right over to the left-hand side so I could hear it sort of properly, you know. And I always thought, like I say, I always thought that it was the fault of the record player, but it wasn't. And it's only in the last 20, 30 years I've realised that it wasn't the record player at all, it was my hearing. So how do I listen to music? First of all, I wear hearing aids. I have an hearing aid for this ear and this ear, and I have them set differently because my hearing is better on this side than it is on this side. This is my hearing aid box. I don't know if you can see that. This light is very, very sharp. This is made by Oticon, I think it is. Let's put my glasses on. Oticon. Oticon, it could be pronounced any old way, I don't know. Just a little box where I keep my hearing aids in, and there's my hearing aid batteries. But I've only just recently started wearing hearing aids in the last couple of 3 years. I was prescribed a hearing aid about 15 years ago, but I gave up on it just for this ear, that one. I gave up on it because it was so uncomfortable. And then I acquired these, which are a much better quality than the ones that I was sort of given on the British, the UK's NHS. These are really great ones. I don't even know I've got them in. They're really, really good. You can't tell that I've got them in, and having long hair helps as well. And just hearing myself with these hearing aids in, it sounds like when I do a radio show and I'm listening to myself through the headphones. The only time I don't have my hearing aids in is if I go to watch a live band. I tend to sort of take them out because I don't need to hear it that loud. And also when I'm doing my radio shows here in my studio, when I'm recording my radio shows, I don't listen with my hearing aids in because I've got headphones on. And even if my hearing is terrible, I will still have to do my radio shows. I have to do them every week. So I just have to put up with it. Sometimes, like with recent shows, my hearing's been relatively good and I've been able to enjoy the music along the way. But sometimes when my hearing's really bad, I still have to do my radio shows, and it's just something that I have to put up with. So I don't wear my hearing aids when I'm listening to music through headphones. There's no point. I do wear them if I'm listening in the car through the speakers, of course, because I can't just blast it out. The other ways that I listen to music or audio at home, I very, very rarely listen to music through speakers. I do have a set of speakers here in the studio, but they're just for monitoring purposes, really. The speakers that we have downstairs, we have the television going through the hi-fi speakers, and sometimes I will put the radio on, and listen to music through the speakers there, because I'm not really listening to it, it's just background music. And also sometimes, you know, if I'm just listening to a track, or I'm recording a track to mini disc, maybe from a cassette that I want to put onto the system for a radio show, I might listen to it through the speakers. But I won't listen to music through speakers if I really want to listen to music, if that makes any sense. I always listen to music when I'm paying attention to music using headphones. And I have two particular sets of headphones that I've had for some years now, a number of years now. This set that I'm going to show you here are a set of Sony MDR X, is that XB? XB700s. These are really great headphones. Now these, even on eBay secondhand, will set you back a lot of money. They really will. This is all steel, really nicely constructed, brilliant bass response. I need to get some new pads for them, and you can see how long I've had these. I use these to record radio programs with and listen to music here in my studio. These are just great headphones, and Sony are a great make. Anyway, like I said, these are the Sony MDR XB700s. Great set of headphones these are. The other set of headphones that are similar to those are these, which again are a Sony set of headphones. Similar to those last ones. You're going to think these are the same. They're not. They are different. These are actually bigger. You see how they're bigger? These are bigger. These are probably the model down from those ones. These are the MDR XB500s. They're the 700s, and these are the 500s. The bass response in these is just brilliant, and when your hearing isn't great, to have a really good bass response is really, really good. Again, I've got to get some new pads for these, but I'm kind of scared to sort of swap them out, you know, in case I sort of damage them. These have been repaired a couple of times. I've had to sort of glue that back together, because these sections here, whereas on the 700s they're steel, this is plastic. But these are absolutely fantastic headphones. I probably had these about 25 years and they're still great headphones. These are the headphones that I use downstairs. Say if we're watching a movie or a television program where I really need to hear what's going on. Not only do we have it through the stereo, I will put these on and listen with these, especially with movies. And they're just great headphones, they really are. And I listen via a radio transmitter. Now this is the Takstar system. Basically, this is the Takstar WPM-200. And it's a very basic, cheap radio FM transmitter. And what I do is, downstairs I have one of these, which is the transmitting device, and that's linked up to the stereo, so I can hear, to move around the house with them basically. And I sometimes listen to music via this. It's not the greatest FM transmitter, to be fair. It's a cheap one. I should really try and sort of upgrade it, but it really works for me because my hearing isn't superb. There's no point me really investing in the best of the best equipment, because I wouldn't get the benefits of that, and it would just be a waste of money. So this is what I use. Instead of having a long cable going to the stereo when we're watching movies, I sort of transmit via that. This is the receiver, and I use these headphones downstairs to either sometimes listen to music, but more often than not to hear the television when we're watching movies and things like that. Nice little system this. This is the, like I said, this is the Takstar WPM. This is the 100 transmitter. I have this upstairs as a spare, but the one downstairs is exactly the same as this, and it just uses a plug-in 12-volt system and a jack, a stereo jack there, and it obviously transmits to this unit. So that's how I listen to music downstairs, or when we're watching movies and things like that, because sometimes when your hearing isn't the best anymore, you don't hear those little things, and especially within movies there can be sort of quiet bits and loud bits, and it's nice to be able to really hear what's going on with the sound and appreciate it close up, because through speakers I just lose it completely. If I want to listen and watch YouTube through my phone, I will use these. Now these, I think I paid about £15 for these. And you know what? They're great headphones. There's nothing wrong with them. But I'll have to get the magnifying glass out, because the printing on here is so small. It's insane. These are JVC Kenwood Corporation wireless headphones, and the model number is HA535BT. Of course, these are Bluetooth headphones, and I use these for listening to other YouTube channels, and sometimes I will listen to sort of online radio listening to these, but I don't listen to music. If I want to hear really good quality as best as I can get, I listen to through my Sonys. I use these for sort of other YouTube videos. And if I want to listen to music on the go, say if I'm walking to work, which I sometimes do in the summertime, I will use these. And these again are a JVC. Sorry, these aren't JVCs, these are JBLs. You can see there, JBL. Nice little Bluetooth earbuds. But these were, I paid £18 for these, and I'm not kidding. These are really, really good sound quality. Probably not as good as some of the really high-end buds, but for the money, I was really, really impressed with these. And because they're buds, you know, there's no sound from outside, and you get as much going into your ears as you possibly can. Similar to my hearing aids. So if I want to listen to music on the go, these are what I use. And like I say, they're really good responsive, and the signal's great on these as well. And that's what I use. Now, losing your hearing for anybody is, especially if you're into music, is something which can be devastating. But if, like me, you're struggling with your hearing, then do go and see your GP, go and see somebody about it, because there's a lot of help out there, especially nowadays. You know, the technology with small hearing aid devices is just incredible. And like I said, the hearing aids that I often use have not only transformed my hearing music and sound if I'm listening just generally like this, but it's helped me within my life, and I've been able to hear a lot better, because being in a group of people, especially if everyone's talking and saying something and you're trying to hear, it can be very, very frustrating. So I thought I'd make this video and just explain how I listen to music and how my hearing has been affected through illness, and no doubt through time as well, and how I've coped with that as an issue within my life. So I hope this video has helped yourself, and like I say, if you do have trouble with your hearing, do go and see somebody about it, because there's no shame in having poor hearing. And like I said, I've had poor hearing ever since I was very, very young. So that's about it. That's enough for me. I'll swing out, and hopefully you'll be able to swing back in for another video very, very soon. But until that time, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications and all that kind of business. You know the deal by now. And we'll see you soon right here in the studio for another video. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.